General Hospital's deadly gift, could Carly's thoughtful present become a murder weapon? In a town like Port Charles, no gesture, no matter how innocent it may seem, should ever be taken at face value. That rule was put to the test in the June 16th episode of General Hospital when Carly Spencer surprised Jack Brennan with a seemingly harmless, even charming, gift, a hefty wrench engraved with the words "for a jack of all jobs." While the scene played out with warmth and flirtation by the poolside, longtime viewers of the ABC soap know better than to dismiss such a prop as mere character fluff. In a world where murder, betrayal, and carefully orchestrated setups are everyday occurrences, this tool may soon serve a much darker purpose. To the casual observer, the moment appeared to celebrate Brennan's down-to-earth roots. Carly, clearly still navigating her complicated feelings and her trust in people, expressed genuine gratitude with a gift that reflected a tender memory. After all, Brennan had rolled up his sleeves and helped her repair the faulty water system in her kitchen, revealing his father was a plumber and surprising Carly with his handyman skills. It was an easy, even domestic moment, one of the first light-hearted exchanges between Carly and Brennan, suggesting the possibility of a genuine connection between two individuals often tangled in far more sinister plots. But in Port Charles, symbolism rarely stops at the surface, and General Hospital has long mastered the art of transforming small moments into major turning points. The engraved wrench, while on its face a token of affection, has all the markings of a future clue in a deadly mystery. Carly's personalization, for a jack of all jobs, is sweet in theory but could quickly become ominous in the wrong hands. With Brennan's name essentially etched into the potential weapon, the wrench could easily be used to frame him for a crime he didn't commit. And in a town where motives are always brewing and enemies often lurk behind smiles, a murder weapon hiding in plain sight isn't just possible, it's likely. The writers have already built up Brennan as a man with layers. His charm masks a past laced with secrets, and while he's made strides to appear more grounded lately, he's hardly free of suspicion. Giving him an object that could so easily double as a bludgeoning weapon creates a perfect storm for a future whodunit. Whether it's to frame him or to test his morality, the wrench now carries narrative weight, and there's no telling which direction the writers might steer it. One scenario already stirring speculation is that the wrench could be stolen and used to kill someone, with Brennan left to defend himself against mounting evidence. A murder involving blunt force trauma, discovered with the engraved wrench left at the scene, would be damning. In a town with a tight-lipped police department and rivalries that span decades, it wouldn't take much to tip the scales against him. Brennan has yet to earn the full trust of those in Carly's circle, and with enemies like Sonny Corinthos ever watchful, the opportunity to take him down, or at least cast doubt on his motives, might be too tempting to ignore. Alternatively, Brennan may actually be forced into a situation where the wrench becomes his only means of defense. If past behavior is any indication, Brennan has a knack for getting himself into trouble. If a confrontation escalates, the wrench, despite its sentimental origins, might serve as his last resort. The result could still be deadly, and the consequences would undoubtedly reverberate throughout Port Charles. Whether used to protect himself or someone else, Brennan wielding the wrench could lead to legal peril, public scandal, or even the destruction of his budding relationship with Carly. And then there's the third, and perhaps most devious, possibility, that someone else entirely uses the wrench to commit a crime and intentionally pins it on Brennan. With his name literally etched into the tool, it would take minimal effort to convince the authorities of his guilt. Carly, despite her instincts, could be manipulated into believing Brennan isn't who she thought he was. The fallout would not only impact Brennan, but also shake Carly's faith in her own judgment, something that's already on shaky ground following years of betrayals and lies from the men in her life. The attention to detail in the June 16th episode wasn't accidental. The camera lingered just a beat longer on the wrench than necessary. The script called attention to the personalization. Brennan's reaction, delighted and moved, added emotional resonance, but also cemented the gift's importance. In soap storytelling, especially in a series as intricately layered as General Hospital, that kind of emphasis signals future relevance. Props are rarely just props, they're foreshadowing tools, and in this case, the tool might quite literally become a harbinger of violence. What heightens the intrigue further is how this plot device could intersect with other ongoing storylines. Brennan's mysterious past is still being unpacked, and his recent involvement with Carly has already raised eyebrows. A murder involving the wrench would draw in not just Carly and Brennan, but also Sonny, Drew, and possibly even Jason, each with their own complex ties to Carly. The ripple effect could resurrect old alliances, ignite new feuds, and position Brennan at the center of yet another Port Charles scandal. Moreover, Carly's own role in the drama could become far more complicated. If she's indirectly responsible for giving someone the means to commit a murder, especially if it's someone close to her, she'll be faced with a moral reckoning unlike any she's dealt with before. Her history with violence, grief, and guilt makes her particularly vulnerable to the emotional impact of such a twist. Would she defend Brennan blindly? Would she turn on him if the evidence stacked too high? Or would she launch her own personal investigation, determined to clear his name, or discover the uncomfortable truth? The writers at General Hospital have masterfully set the stage for a multi-layered mystery with a single scene, proving once again that the smallest actions can trigger the largest consequences. Whether the wrench becomes a murder weapon, a tool of self-defense, or a framed exhibit in a courtroom drama, it now carries narrative weight far beyond its intended purpose. Port Charles may seem calm on the surface, but the shadows are always moving, and sometimes, all it takes is one thoughtful gift to turn a romance into a crime scene. Stay tuned. The wrench is just the beginning.